Hello, Motorsports fans, and welcome to this, our final edition for the 1992 Fundy Motorsports magazine. Today, we're going to be checking out the 250 action in Moto-cross held recently at Hammond River Raceway. To get us into the action, let's send it over now to our track announcer, Larry McCaw.
And in the 250 novices, you'll see the number 14, Dale Pike of Riverview, New Brunswick, on a Toys for Big Boys Honda. He had a bail-off when he got involved with St. John's David Arsenault. In the earlier 250 novice moto, he has managed to shake off a sore leg and get back aboard the bike. The number 98, Jeff Griffith from Riverview, was a no-show in the earlier open moto. Whether he'll be out here for this one, time will tell. The number 17, David Arsenault from St. John, has had an excellent weekend here. He's won his open moto. He finished on the podium twice yesterday. He rides a Suzuki. The number 88 is Peter Murphy from Dartmouth, Nova Scotia. He is Kawasaki mounted. The number 5 is Kyle Sweezy from Fredericton. Sweezy had a real rough time here, keeping the rubber side down all afternoon. Even in practice, he sent himself down to the ground a few times. And the number 22 is Vince McClellan. We've seen him before. We're going to see him again in this one. McClellan rides the Valley View Cycle Action Accessories Suzuki. A short but talented field of novice riders in the 250 class, ready for their second moto of the afternoon. Once again, that slingshot start mechanism being employed. It is a length of surgical rubber hose stressed extremely tight across in front of the riders. 5-second card is up. That slingshot pulls out of the way, and they're gone. And it is every man for himself as they battle for turn one. Looks like the number 5 of Kyle Sweezy with the hole shot as they head into two. And David Arsenault on the number 17 looking for a way around on the inside here. Gets pinched into the tires. They bump together. And this can be a physical sport. Other than the fact that you have to be in incredible shape to ride it, quite often you'll get into a little bit of roller derby type action as elbows and knees fly in the turns. David Arsenault made it work for him. The number 17 Suzuki rider out of St. John with the lead. The number 5 Fredericton's Kyle Sweezy in second spot, and Riverview, New Brunswick's Dale Pike back from a crash, running in third on the number 14 Honda. Jeff Griffith, another Riverview rider on the number 98 machine, sits fourth, and fifth Vince McClellan on the number 22, and McClellan made an excellent comeback here earlier, so we'll see what he can do on his 250cc Suzuki. We hear a lot of noise from the crowd each time we come to Hammond River Raceway for Brian Dueron and for Johnny Montez. And there's another St. John rider who is shining out there in the novice class. Unfortunately, next time you see him, which will be next season, he will not be a novice class rider because Dave Arsenault will have picked up enough points to propel him forward to the intermediate class, and deservedly so. Had it not been for a foot injury here at St. John last year, Arsenault would probably be wearing a yellow number plate now. David Arsenault, the number 17 machine, with the lead and breaking away from the field here. Fredericton's Kyle Sweezy second on number 5, and then the number 14, Riverview, New Brunswick's Dale Pike. Moving through traffic, the number 22 of Vince McClellan of Truro, Nova Scotia, the Valley View Cycle Suzuki, now giving Pike a rough time here as they head over the tabletop. Major battle here for second spot. Dale Pike finds a line down the inside and tries to shut out Kyle Sweezy and makes it work. And the number 22 of Vince McClellan gets a little squirrely as he hoped to capitalize on the pass. Didn't pull it off that time. Dale Pike moves to second spot as St. John's Dave Arsenault runs away up front. And the reason that you can get away so quickly up front would be obvious if you sat behind one of these motorcycles on the track for a moment. The spray coming back off that aggressive knobby rear tire feels like a million pins and needles. So the riders who battle in traffic have to contend with the momentary pain of the sand being sprayed back in their faces, while the man out front has clean goggles and has nothing to distract him as he continues to roll off lap after lap over the double. 17, Dave Arsenault, and look at this battle. Vince McClellan just poured it on here on this lap to move to second spot on the number 22 Suzuki. We have Suzuki's 1 and 2 with Dave Arsenault and Vince McClellan showing the rest of the way around. The 14 of Dale Pike sits third. Then Kyle Sweezy of Fredericton and Jeff Griffith of Riverview on the number 98 Kawasaki chasing from the rear. Through the minefield, the second and third place machines, as Dave Arsenault continues to extend his lead on the number 17 Suzuki. Through turn 1 now, down the short chute, over the jump, into the left-hander that is turn number 2, and now into a quick combination. It's a left, a right, a jump, a slow, gradual right-hand bend, and onto the back straight. The difference in the lap times from between yesterday and today, a difference of about 4 seconds in most classes, attributable to the fact that there was a chicane on the back straight yesterday that has been surgically removed with a bulldozer. And they no longer make that quick left-right bend. It is strictly a straightaway, and they can turn her up all the way. Arsenault over the tabletop, taking it easy, rides smooth and controlled. He knows he has an excellent lead, and no use of jeopardizing it by falling off. Dave Arsenault on the number 17 Suzuki, the number 22 Truro, Nova Scotia's Vince McClellan trying to find a way to catch up to the leader. He is 9.76 seconds behind. And the interval back to third place, where the number 14 of Dale Pike runs, is 7.57 seconds. Jeff Griffith of Riverview sits fourth right now on the number 98 Kawasaki. Your leader heads down the back straight, soon to make that hard right-hander. Runs it around the berm. A little bit of a rooster tail as he heads for the step jump. A little airborne there, heads over the double jump, which is now getting cut down, has a groove right through the middle of it, so they no longer jump it necessarily. They just blast straight through. Over the tabletop once again, puts it down on the top of the jump rather than going for the down slope and taking a chance on crashing, and you can't blame him. Dave Arsenault in control of this one. He got a little squirrely there momentarily as the bike rocked a little too far forward for him. 22, Vince McClellan. McClellan just about takes a step off too as he gets bucked off the foot pegs. It is Arsenault on the number 17, McClellan on the number 22, and Dale Pike on the number 14, 1, 2, and 3, and Jeff Griffith now beginning to reel in Dale Pike. Pike probably hurting a little bit from a leg injury, suffered in a crash off the tabletop jump here in his first moto. Leaders about to break into the infield once again. David Arsenault rolls on the throttle as he sees some straightaway in front of him. Over the step jump again, riding very cautiously and very intelligently. Into the left-hand hairpin that takes him to the tabletop once again. Not a lot of air from the St. John rider. Keeps it controlled here. McClellan on the number 22 continues to try and reel him in. Check the interval between the two here. A 1:13 lap for Arsenault, which is just about on pace for a rider who's taking it easy. The interval down to 7.84 seconds between first and second place as Vince McClellan continues to reel in the leader here. The number 14 of Dale Pike all alone back in third, and Jeff Griffith working hard to gain some ground on third spot, just in case the number 14 should have problems. That would put Jeff Griffith in position to move around. Your leader into the infield once again as he heads for the double jump. Number 17, St. John's David Arsenault. And I can see that interval closing up between first and second, even with the naked eye. Interval now down to 6.08 seconds. Oh, Arsenault in trouble over the bars. Dave Arsenault takes a step off right here in the minefield. It's war, and the minefield came up and exploded underneath him, and Vince McClellan of Truro takes over the lead on the number 22 machine, and now David Arsenault on the number 17 is really going to have to pour on the coals. And there's a problem here. He has a lever problem. And he straightens it out and gets back underway, but that cost him valuable time. Dave Arsenault had this one sewn up. Didn't necessarily need to cook it as hard as he did through the minefield, and it jumped up and took a bite out of him. Back in third, Dale Pike on the number 14. Fourth, the number 98 of Jeff Griffith of Riverview. And your new leader, the number 22, the Valley View Cycle Action Accessories Suzuki of Vincent McClellan of Truro. McClellan now through that right-hander and back into the infield section. Big rooster tail as he comes down the cutaway backside of that step jump. And you can hear a few more revs from the number 17 Suzuki now as Dave Arsenault tries to figure out what he can do in one lap to catch the number 22 machine. Last lap card is out now. McClellan will be taking it cautious. This can be his race. The number 22 rider, look how easily he goes through the minefield. Arsenault comes around through the hairpin now and sees the minefield. He may be a little wary as he goes in here after crashing once. Dale Pike, the number 14, all alone in third spot. Fourth, the 98 of Riverview, New Brunswick's Jeff Griffith. McClellan already down into the back straight. Arsenault just going through turn 2 now. So unless he bails off or blows up between now and the checkered flag, it looks like a 15-point moto for the number 22 out of Truro. Down the back slope of the step jump. Through what once was a double jump. Into the left-hand hairpin. Checkered flag waiting on the line. The Valley View Cycle Action Accessories Suzuki of Vince McClellan of Truro with the 15 points in the second moto for the 250 novices. St. John's, David Arsenault, number 17, a frustrating second place result. An excellent ride nonetheless. And just one of those things, the minefield came up and took a bite out of him.
While we have a short break in the action, let's check with our resident mechanic, Brian Ferguson, and maybe even give some tips on something that might help us down the road. What do you have today, Brian?
Most of today's cars are fuel injected. So what we're going to do is we're going to have a little look at fuel injection, try to clear up some of the fog and maybe explain a few things. To make today's fuel injection systems work, we need basically three things. You need input information, which comes from sensors such as a coolant temperature sensor, crank angle sensor. You need your central processing unit, or ECM or ECU, to process the input information, compare it to the data which is already stored inside, and then drive the actuators on the output side, such as fuel injectors, idle air control valves, and that sort of thing. This is a chart to demonstrate some of the input information and the outputs which are given from a typical engine control system. All these inputs are given to the control unit. The control unit compares this to its information which has been stored in its PROM or memory and sends outputs to the various actuators. The way that the control unit causes your fuel injection system to work is really not that complicated once you get the basics down. You get a basic understanding of what's happening. Now the information is sent out through these ports. It is directly connected to the connectors, such as for the fuel injector or the idle air solenoid. The fuel injector works on what's called a duty cycle. Duty cycle is the difference between the amount of time the solenoid is on to the amount of time the solenoid is off. Each time the injector is turned on, fuel is allowed to come through and spray down onto the throttle plate and into the engine. So the longer you leave this on, or the more times you pulse this, the more fuel you're going to get. The electronic fuel injection system is constantly monitoring the input sensors, such as coolant temperature sensor and exhaust gas sensor, to maintain the fuel ratio at approximately 14.7 to 1, which is the optimum ratio for emission controls and is also pretty good performance and fuel economy. Okay. Today's fuel injection systems are very low maintenance, but it's important to remember to always consult your service manual for your maintenance schedules to keep your car running in tip-top condition.
And what a moto we had in this class the first time around. My throat still hurts. Your intermediate class, some of these names you'll recognize. The number 21, Adam Robarts from Newport, Nova Scotia, the Shore Cycle Action Accessories Suzuki. The number 75, St. John's own Johnny Montez, a WFO Yamaha, a borrowed Yamaha. The Scott Lockhart number 182 machine, I believe, will be his mount this time out. The 05 is Derek Scott from Greenwood, Nova Scotia, a product finder Suzuki, second generation rider. His father Tom, former motocrosser and former Atlantic Region chief referee. And the number 4 is Jason Embleton of Fredericton, a McLean's Sports Transcycle sponsored Yamaha. Embleton at one point in time the hottest schoolboy on the circuit and then went into retirement. He is back now on a full-size machine out of retirement. He's raced a couple of races and he's looking good. In the pro class, the 426 is the Yamaha of Peter Nickerson of Barrington Passage, Nova Scotia. The 129, Frank Campbell of Moncton on a Toys for Big Boys Honda. The 63, the Joe Show, Joe Doucette from Sherwood PEI. Steve Joyce will ride the number 8 intermediate plated Suzuki. Larry Northrop and Glenn Hoare put on a show. The number 81, the number 127, and the number 111. The riders to watch here. Brian Dueron on the number 111, the hometown hero in this case. Dueron with the lead right now, and look at Joe Doucette turn the throttle here as they break into the infield. Dueron with the lead. Then Adam Robarts on the number 21 looks over his shoulder to see St. John's Steve Joyce. He is the Pro 131 rider riding the number 8 machine. And look at Larry Northrop right in the hunt. He is third right now in the Pro class and worrying Steve Joyce already. We'll be looking for some hot laps this time around. We'll put the watch on Dueron first time through. Brian Dueron, the number 111 in the lead in the pro class. Then your intermediate leader right behind him, the number 21. Adam Robarts just about took a step off there. Larry Northrop has gotten by Steve Joyce to move to second in the pros. Joyce is third in the pros. Glenn Hoare on the 127 sits fourth in the pros. The 63 of Joe Doucette, fifth. Sixth is Frank Campbell on the 129 machine. And Dueron already down the short chute and heading for turn number 2. Adam Robarts, don't know where he found the speed. This guy is hot. And there's a major bail-off. And now Glenn Hoare is going to have to play some serious catch-up as the entire field gets by him unless he's destroyed that machine. Brian Dueron, your leader. Behind him, a handful of competition. Larry Northrop on the number 81 machine now physically sits second on the track as he roosts Adam Robarts. Northrop has not been evident in the first half of the season. A 107.51 lap for Dueron. Let's see how Northrop rolls on the number 81 Honda. Glenn Hoare back up and running, and now he's going to have to ride like the national caliber rider that he is to even find the back of the field. Johnny Montez rides the number 182, sits second in the intermediates. Jason Embleton on the number 4 machine is third in the intermediate field. Derek Scott on the 05 is fifth. And Glenn Hoare now wicking the throttle for all it's worth as he drives around here looking for the rest of the field. Another yellow flag out over off the jump that heads into turn number 2. And we'll try and figure out who is missing here. Brian Dwaron, the number 111 machine, with the lead. Larry Northrup is reeling him in. And that was Steve Joyce who took the step off. The 131 Pro Rider, Steve Joyce, on the borrowed number 8 Suzuki. A 107.13 lap for Larry Northrup, but he is reeling in Brian Dwaron. They are now about 3 bike lengths apart. Adam Robarts continues to sit third on the track and lead the intermediate field. Joe Doucette is your third place Pro Rider. Fourth in the pros, the 129 of Frank Campbell. And Jason Embleton now has picked up second spot in the intermediates. Johnny Montez on the borrowed number 182 Yamaha sits back in third. And Glenn Hoare has started to move through traffic on the 127 machine through the minefield. Treats it like it isn't there. Look at the way he blistered through there. Glenn Hoare on the number 127 machine, looking to catch the field here. The 111 of Brian Dwaron at the step jump continuing to lead. Larry Northrup continuing to worry him here from second spot and about 3 to 4 bike lengths back. Dwaron in the air on the 111. Northrup definitely outbraked him in that turn. Larry Northrup now hounding the rear wheel of the number 111 St. John Suzuki RM250 of Brian Dwaron as they go up and head for the pit straight. Northrup came down off that tabletop jump and just outbraked Brian Dwaron. Glenn Hoare continues to move through traffic now. He has the battle, Jason Embleton and Johnny Montez in front of him, and this is a deadly game they're playing here. These guys are racing for position. Glenn Hoare just wants to get by them and catch the front of the field. Johnny Montez crosses it up. Don't know how the young St. John rider didn't get off there. He has moved back to second place in the intermediates. Jason Embleton drops to third with Derek Scott on the 05, back in fourth. Brian Dwaron continuing to lead up front here as they come down through the double jump into that left-hand hairpin and head for the tabletop side by side. Dwaron, Northrup once again outbrakes him as they come into this turn. Forced to run wide. And while this may all be well and good up front, a major war, the fastest man on the track is the 127 of Glenn Hoare as he continues to try and find the front of the field. Down the short chute into turn number 2. Northrup sets up for the inside line. Dwaron just nips him in the berm. Down the back straight, they'll soon be into lap traffic, and this could play a major role. Dwaron, Northrup, they're coming up behind the number 05 of Derek Scott. Over the step jump they go, over the double jump, into the left-hand hairpin that takes them to the tabletop. Dwaron, the number 111, Northrup, the number 81. Northrup continues to worry him in that hairpin. Into the minefield they go. Neither rider gains any ground there. Dwaron gets crossed up just a little bit, momentarily. Let's not forget that Adam Robarts, the number 21, is sitting in front of a bunch of pro riders, and he is the intermediate leader. It's blistering fast here this afternoon. Adam Robarts, the number 21, your intermediate leader. Behind him right now, Joe Doucette on the number 63, your third place pro. Then the 129 of Frank Campbell, your fourth place pro, and Glenn Hoare already up to fifth. Larry Northrup. Larry Northrup makes his move. They come down the back straight now. Once again into that right-hander, high around the berm. Northrup with a big rooster tail, the number 81 rider in the lead. Over the step jump, and Northrup begins to stretch away from Dwaron now. They head for the tabletop. Adam Robarts on the number 21 Suzuki running fast enough that he is about to lap the rider who sits at the back of the intermediate field. He's lapping into his own class here. Joe Doucette on the number 63 Suzuki comes over the step jump, continuing to run third in the 250 Pros. Glenn Hoare about to pass Frank Campbell. Hoare has been bottled up in traffic through the whole piece here, around the berm as they head for the tabletop. Hoare's line is blocked. He rolls a 109.24 lap. Gonna pick up the pace a little bit here. Campbell closes the door on him once again. Now he goes around the outside. Incredible pass and smooth as glass. Glenn Hoare through the right-left combination now and on the move. He's looking for the rear wheel of Joe Doucette's bike next. Larry Northrup has gotten away now from Brian Dweron. Northrup, once he got by the obstruction that was the number 111 St. John Suzuki RM250, has gotten away. He pulls off a 7.74 second interval right now over the second place rider. It is Northrup on the number 81, Dweron on the number 111, Joe Doucette on the number 63, and Glenn Hoare reeling him in. Glenn Hoare from dead to last. And now looking for podium position here. Hoare leads the championship series. Wants to continue scoring a few points. Incredibly smooth through the minefield. Moncton's Larry Northrup has been absent from the circuit. You wouldn't know it. Usually these guys have to be in such incredible shape that just a couple of weeks layoff can slow them down. Larry Northrup not showing any signs of it here. High in the air, the number 81 rider with the lead. Back marker number 4 machine, Jason Embleton, sits behind him. I believe he is third in the intermediate field. And the 111 of Brian Dweron, your second place pro. Brian Dweron having a rough time with the minefield there. Joe Doucette over the tabletop on the number 63 machine. Glenn Hoare continuing to hound him now. They come through that hairpin, that right-hand hairpin that takes them into the minefield. And Hoare just moves through there like it was a straightaway. Larry Northrup, the number 81 machine, back into the infield set now. Clears the double jump into the left-hand hairpin that takes him to the tabletop. Last lap card is out this time around. Northrup high in the air on the number 81 machine. Putting it down smoothly on the tabletop, about 42 feet from the launch area to the landing area. Embleton, a back marker, then the number 111 of Brian Dweron in second place. Working his way towards a second place overall for the afternoon. Adam Robarts moves to the inside to let Glenn Hoare through. Robarts leads the intermediate field by an incredible amount, the number 21 Suzuki rider. Glenn Hoare has less than one lap to catch Joe Doucette to put himself on the podium. Gonna watch that little war here. Hoare very smoothly through the right-left transition and now on to the pit straight. Doucette on the brakes. Hoare waits till late to brake. Uses the berm, moves to the inside. Doucette shuts the door. Down the short chute, over the jump, heading for turn number 2. Glenn Hoare on the outside, Doucette on the inside. Larry Northrup grabs the checkered flag on the number 81 machine. A convincing win. Brian Dweron yet to come through the infield. Joe Doucette continuing to lead Glenn Hoare for third place right now as they come down the back straight, ready to break into the infield. Hoare on the inside, Doucette slams the door. Brian Dweron heads for the checkered flag behind Jason Embleton. Checkered flag for Dweron, a second place result on the St. John Suzuki RM250. Hoare will not get third. Joe Doucette holds him off. Joe Doucette with third, Glenn Hoare with fourth. Adam Robarts takes it easy.